All right. Who has our conclusion? Hans, do you have it? Is your sound working today?
The conclusion would be that they cannot completely explain the phenomena of dreaming. It's kind of a weird, kind of weird background.
Some Okay, I don't think that is our main conclusion. That's our subsidiary conclusion. You're close though. What do you think it is, Kamani?
Is it the some psychologists mistakenly argue?
Do you see this, Hans? We're saying our conclusion here is going to be some psychologists.
See, I got distracted by the intermediate conclusion as opposed to the final.
That's why, no worries. So our main conclusion is going to be some psychologists mistakenly argue that because dreams result from electrical discharges in the brain, they must be understood purely in terms of their physiological function. And then we go on to share here. So what part of the argument is this, Gazelle? The second sentence, would you say? They conclude. Oh, you're on mute.
Dream. Is that they conclude against proof that dreams reveal nothing about the character of the dreamer, supporting?
Yeah, it's just kind of background information, right? We're explaining what they're wrong about. So this is what the psychologists are wrong about, right? Like kind of their conclusion. And then we go on to this last sentence, and I can totally see why Hans and others got a little bit confused because we have a since here. So we know that we're introducing at least a premise. So since dream content varies enormously, then even if electrical discharges provided the terms of the psychological explanations of dreams, they cannot completely explain the phenomenon or the event of dreaming. Why is our first sentence our main conclusion and not our last sentence? Kamani?
Because like the first sentence is like giving what the psychologist believes, and then I think the second one is going more into detail of like why this is a mistake.
Yes, we conclude why the dream revealing nothing is incorrect, right? They cannot completely explain this thing. Therefore, the psychologists arguing like this are mistaken. Are you following, Hans?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Okay, perfect. This is a tough one. I don't know why I started with this one. This is a tough one to get going for this morning. All right, so we have our conclusion now. And now what we do is read now after I find I ask myself, is this an argument or a set of facts? And then I know it's an argument, so I find my conclusion, which we already did. And then I look at what this statement is asking us to do. So it's saying the claim that dream content varies enormously plays which of the following rules? So I'm going to come up into my stimulus and actually find that sentence. All right. And so now what our goal is of a rule question is now we need to predict why does the psychologist in their argument include this statement through the eyes of the conclusion? So what is the relationship of this statement right here? Dream content varies enormously in regards to our main conclusion. So I want you to take 20 seconds and predict, if you had to explain it in your own words, what would you say? All right. Good morning. Tatiana, do you have, how would you describe it?
Like how dream content varies mostly to the conclusion.
Yeah, what role is it playing? How would you paraphrase this in your own words? Why did the author include that?
To give a change, like a rebuttal, like why?
Yeah,
I got this.
you're totally on the right track.
roll.
You're, Amara, you sent something in direct messages. What do you think?
I think that it's a support for the intermediate conclusion. It's kind of giving more background information on going into why they cannot completely explain the phenomenon of dreaming.
Yes, do we see this? So that statement right here is a premise for our subsidiary conclusion, right? It's really, does everybody see that? How it's, but since dream, that's how we get to our subsidiary conclusion. And then we take that whole statement and use it to support our main conclusion. So excellent, Amara. So I want everybody to go ahead and try this one and put it in your answer in the chat. All right, so let's walk through this. Let's walk through some of these answer choices together. All right, so A is saying it is used to support the anti-Freudian conclusion that sums what at least one psychologist draw concerning dreams. So what is the anti-Freudian, I'm not saying that right, anti-F conclusion? Tatiana, do you know?
Can I go?
Yeah, of course.
The anti-Freudian conclusion is that dreams say nothing about the character of the dreamer.
Right, excellent. So is our statement used to support that? No, that's the complete opposite. So it can't be A. All right, B. It is used to support the explicitly stated conclusion that a fully satisfactory account of dreams must allow for the possibility of their revealing significant information about the dreamer. What are our thoughts? Some people picked this one. What are our thoughts on this one?
We had spoken about it when we were going through the stimulus that's not, the conclusion is not in this area. So this is not really doing anything to the main conclusion.
You're right. And is our conclusion that a fully satisfactory account of dreams must allow for the possibility of their revealing significant information about the dreamer?
Yeah, that's not the explicitly stated conclusion either.
No, our conclusion is that the psychologists are wrong, right? So this is a perfect example on like our top-down questions that the second, I like it, I don't hate it up until this point, it is used to support. I don't love that explicitly word, but up to that point I kept reading. But the second it geared off track, it makes it wrong. So we don't offer too much grace to these answer choices.
Would it be like it's too out of scope?
It's just, yeah, it's out of scope for the sense it's not, it doesn't say the right conclusion. Do you see that, Tatiana? Like if it would have said that it's used to support the conclusion that the psychologists are mistaken about this, then it would be right. All right, C, it is used to support that neither Freud's theory nor the theory of anti-Freudian psychologists can completely explain the thing of dreaming. What did you think about this one, Hans? Oh, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Could you please repeat the question?
What did you think about answer choice C?
I don't think much of answer choice B because
C is in cat.
See, I don't think much of answer choice C because it is bringing stuff which is not
Right, we're not using it to support that Freud's theory nor the theory of anti-theories can completely explain. Do we know what the anti-Freudian or what Freud's theory really is from this argument? No. So it can't be C.
the C was just totally bad because we don't discuss the anti-Freudian psychologists, and then nor is Freud's theory is given in detail. We do know that the psychologists went against Freud. That was just
Right.
sufficient information to know that C is not right. That's why I automatically went with E.
Oh, you gave it away, but yes. All right, so let's look at why D is wrong first. So D, it is used to illustrate the difficulty of providing a complete explanation of the event of dreaming. Does it describe, does this give us an illustration? The statement that dream content varies enormously, is that illustrating why it's hard to explain the event of dreaming?
Yeah, that's the way I was thinking. When you think about your dreams as you dream out through the night, you dream different dreams throughout the night and they vary. So how could one hone in on an actual dream and then determine the result of why you dream those different dreams? That's what I was thinking.
You understand the stimulus, which is great. You're going to be so annoyed of why this one's wrong. It's because it uses the word to illustrate. Because it's more of a statement, right? We're not like, if we're
Okay.
no, I know this is where these are top-down questions. If we're going to illustrate something, that's almost like providing an example in a picture sense, right? Like this is why I'm trying to think of a good example of how to illustrate something. Like you might illustrate something with an analogy, which it would be called an analogy in the answer choices. It's kind of like a specific kind of example, right? When you illustrate something, whenever you're writing, we're just saying dream content varies enormously. Like we're not, like maybe if we were to illustrate that, it would be to say, this is what it looks like for this person, and this is what it looks like for this person, and showing why it varies enormously. So this,
by the way,
what?
Nicole, when I read the stem, this is what I got from, this is what the inferences I drew. If the physiological dreaming to almost a mechanical process, if it's a mechanical process, then everybody's dreams would be the same. The explanation would be simple, but since everybody's dreams vary, it cannot be reduced to just a deterministic mechanistic process.
And that's why you crossed off D?
Right, that's part of why I crossed out B, because if we could reduce, if it was reductionist, we could reduce it down to just a mechanistic process, then it would provide a full, complete explanation of the phenomenon of dreaming. We can't.
Right, but is it
while it's difficult to,
but D is saying, see, I see why D is attempting wrong answer, because it says it's used to illustrate the difficulty of providing a complete explanation of a dreaming. I agree that this is used to lean towards why we don't have a complete like picture of dreaming, right? Or a complete we don't have a complete explanation of dreams. But the sentence dreams content varies enormously is not an illustration. We're not using an example or pictures or charts to explain why it's difficult. We're just saying that content varies enormously. That's
Yeah,
not
I understand that
yeah,
because
exactly.
they would have actually given us an actual specific example of a picture.
Yes.
So I see what you're saying.
I hate explaining illustrations because I use the word example, but then the example is also a word
Agreed.
that's in answer choices. And I'm like, wait, I don't want to use that word to explain illustrate. So yes. So the second I read illustrate, I crossed this off. And so this is a great question of how the tough questions on LR getting to by crossing off the wrong answer choices to get to the right one. But let's look at this. So it is referring to our statement, right? The word it. So is the statement or the claim dream content varies enormously is used to undermine a claim that at least one psychologist used to argue against a view of Freud's. So what is the claim? Okay, so it is used to undermine something, right? So it is used to undermine. What is it undermining? What claim?
Some psychologists mistakenly argue the conclusion would be the claim.
I think it's actually they conclude against Freud that dreams reveal nothing about the character of the dreamer. But yeah, in turn it would go against that. So it's used to undermine the claim that they're using against Freud. Do we see that? It sucks. This is a tough one to start out with. I don't know why I picked this one to start off with this morning.
You confused me. I'm so confused now.
Okay, no worries. Thank you for saying that. So the claim that dream content varies enormously is used to weaken these people that are anti-Freud. So do we see here where it says they conclude against Freud? It's used to weaken this idea, right?
Okay.
Which in turn, by weakening that, all of this is all used to support our main idea that the psychologists are wrong or mistaken. Yay, nay, like it, hate it.